So I got this book recently. It's John Maxwell. It says How Successful People Think. And it was funny because I'm staying with a friend and I was like, well, I want to go meditate by the water. And he's like, sure, maybe I'll read your book. And I go, but I'm bringing my book with me. I just recently got it. And I felt like it was like almost like my Bible. I just really felt like this is something I really do want to learn. I want to learn how to think better. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to take my book with me and go meditate. So then we kind of started mentally fighting. He's like, no, I want to read your book. But I'm like, this is my book. I want to bring it to the water and go meditate. He's like, no, I'm reading your book. Let me tell you something. And I was like, yeah. So then I was like, I mean, I still took my book because this is my book. So then I was like, is this being selfish? Am I being selfish? Or am I being selfless if I gave him the book? Or is he being selfish by asking me to give him my book? Or is he being selfless to actually let me take my book? So anyway, the book actually has a whole chapter about selflessness and how to act from that space. But the funny thing is that I read my books a bit out of order, so I'll go through like the contents. I'm like, what resonates with me today? And I felt like learning about that. So I started reading, but I observed the structure, right? The structure is that the selflessness chapter is all the way on page 100 something. And in a book about how to think like a successful person, why would he put that in all the way in the end, right? Well, the first 100 something pages were about how to organize your thoughts, how to organize your mind, how to think better, right? How to think from a bigger perspective, have a big picture, all the things that go into the internal working of yourself. If I'm writing a book, I think that I would structure it the way that I would want someone to read it. Because most people are normal, they read a book from page 1 to page 100. They don't just go, let me just open page 100, which is, what I did. So I think there is a reason for that. And then he also talks that none of us is as smart as all of us. So my perspective is just limited to this one body. And from my limited self, if I had to guess for the reason, why would importance of selflessness be in the end of a book like that? Well, in my head, there's only one reason. It's because as we grow, the first things we do is discover ourselves. The first things we do is organize our own mind and organize our own body and organize who we are, which sometimes people can actually perceive as selfish because there's things that we do that require us to take care of ourselves physically, emotionally, financially, like on every level, right? Maybe sometimes we actually need to be a little selfish or appear that way only because through doing that, what we do is the first essentially steps of finding who we are, learning how to function well, and then when we are in a better space to help someone else. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it makes some sense. And yeah, thank you for being here.